Afternoon, folks. Bobo here, coming to you from 3 Zen in icy Midwest Ohio. I always look this way. I look out the window to see what the weather is. At any rate, I grew up as an Air Force brat, if you will. Grew up all over the world. And I belong to a Facebook group, Okinawa Brats on Facebook. It's a very interesting group. It's a private group, but I enjoy hopping onto it every now and then just to get a touch and a feel of living in Okinawa. I think that was couple of the best years of my life were those 2 years there. We got there in 1953. Dad had gotten there in 52, but they didn't have base housing built. You know, the war had only been over 7 years, and they were still trying to clear the jungle and so forth of wreckage from the war, and to build the facilities for the base for Kadena. So they had a lot going on, and part of it was dependent housing. Once that was completed in 53, Dad was able to come back to Oregon to fetch us. And we showed up in the summer of 53 and then spent 2 years there. For me, it was my second and third grades. And I can tell you without reservation, I just loved it. I loved going to school there. I loved living there. And I loved playing outside there. I've always been a free-range kid. I've loved playing outside. Been active playing sports, although I wasn't really good at any of them. I loved playing them. And I loved exploring. I loved being in the jungle. I loved being in the woods. Loved being in the desert. Just had a ball. What an opportunity I had as a kid like that. So we'll come back to Okinawa here. Recently, I met a gal on Okinawa Brats, and she was still living there. And the subject was where we had lived at various times and whatnot. And she volunteered to go by the house and take a couple of pictures for me. As it turns out, the house is empty, or it was empty. It was being renovated, and she got a couple of pictures of the inside of the house. And just like that, I was back there like yesterday. Now, some of the things have changed, sure they have. But there was enough of it for me to go back 60-some years and just take a moment and enjoy myself there looking at those pictures. And then she took some pictures of the outside, and I had to crack up. On one of the pictures she had, it shows a view of the street going up a small rise. Now, I used to think of that as a Nordic ski jump hill, but in essence, it's barely a rise, if you will, to where when the road gets to the end there, it becomes the jungle. And that's where we used to play. Now, Mom and Dad told us we could play outside almost anywhere we wanted, but not in the jungle. There were habu snakes there. And there were caves there that the Japanese occupied. Not all the caves had been cleared of booby traps or mines or anything else like that. So we were told to stay out of them. So where'd we go play? In the jungle and the caves. Who knew? So anyway, this one day I'm up in the jungle up there and kind of exploring. And I came across this telephone pole up on the hill. And this telephone pole had globs of tar all over it. And I thought to myself, that tar might catch fire spontaneously, I'm sure, and burn. And it could start a big fire and burn the whole base down. Matter of fact, it might set the island on fire. Now, this is from a 7-year-old kid. And being conscientious as I was, I thought, somebody ought to speak out about this. So that afternoon, when Mom got home, I asked her, I said, Mom, can tar catch fire on a telephone pole? And she'd never been asked that question before. So she said, well, I don't know, I imagine. I don't know. So we kind of left it at that. The next day, when Mom left, Dad had gone to work. He was a commissary officer, so he always left pretty early. When Mom left, probably went shopping, I suspect, I made a beeline for the phone. I was going to call the fire department and report a fire hazard. Like I said, I'm pretty conscientious. So I called the fire department And best I could as a 7-year-old, I explained this fire hazard that I had discovered. Well, this guy wasn't sure what the hell I was talking about, and I can get that today. But he thought, you know what, I better not just blow this kid off. It might be something. So it wasn't too long before 1 or 2 fire trucks showed up, and 3 or 4 guys in these tinfoil suits with these hoods on and whatnot, they got out. And I can only imagine how hot it was. So they get out and they start unfurling the hoses. And I still remember these guys carrying these hoses as I led them up the side of the hill through the jungle. Oh my God. I don't know why that has stayed with me. But so we're wandering through this trail or whatever it was up to the top of the hill there where they had these telephone poles. And sure enough, there was tar on them. When we got up there, I pointed to the chief and I says, "That's the Hazzard." And I can still see the tar on the base of the telephone poles and the turnbuckles on the wires that held the thing. And his chief just looked at me, and I didn't know, that was the thing. Like I said, I was only 7 years old. Well, they kind of, I don't know what they thought. And that's okay. So anyway, we come out of there, and I don't know what they did, but they packed up and took off their tinfoil suits and went home. And I went home and later told Mom and Dad what I'd done, expecting to get the hell beat out of me. But I escaped it only because I had told Mom about it the day before. Oh my God, those memories like that. They come back, and today I kind of cringe about them, but still they're kind of funny. So I told you, the hill that we walked up, you can see it here. It's just barely perceptive as a hill. I don't know if I could call it a slope. You also get an impression for it on the image that I used to introduce this video. But once again, I want to thank Lindsay for sending these pictures to me. I have really enjoyed them, and they evoke some really fond memories of living in Okinawa, this being one of them. So with that, this is your free-range kid, Bobo. I would love to say coming to you from Okinawa today with the weather 14 degrees and icy. I would really love to say that, but here I am coming to you from Anna, Ohio. Base gear. Stop.